time, I've had a fear of talking with people, and it sort of began pretty early on in my life. When I was in sort of like late elementary school, like throughout middle school, I had a bit of a difficult time socially in my school. I know it's a difficult time for everyone. There were some nice people in my grade, but there were some people who were nice. There were some people who were nice to others, but not to me. And then there were some friends that I had who treated me sort of inconsistently. It got to the point where I would be walking into a classroom each day, and I wouldn't know whether my friends would be happy to see me or smiling, or whether, they would accuse me of doing something that I hadn't done, because, some of the people in the class would spread rumors about me, about things that I hadn't done. And it sort of felt like when I was having problems, it felt like my friends didn't really always care or support me in those problems. I don't know if that was just a perception that I had, but that's how I felt. And over time, I became scared of talking to people because I started feeling that people were inherently two-faced. I also started feeling that people wouldn't, I started feeling that people wouldn't care about what I had to say, that even if I tried to go make a friend, they get bored of me, or that they just plain straight up wouldn't be interested. And when you start having those thoughts, you start withdrawing from people, you stop trying. And then once you stop trying, you don't really have very many friends, and that further reinforces the idea, at least for me, that I was really bad at talking with people. So I sort of had this fear of talking basically throughout high school, and it sort of went into my college days as well. And there was a lot of things that went along with it. I was afraid to call up, on the phone line and order food for my family, things like that. I was afraid to make new friends. I was afraid to join clubs because then I'd have to talk to people. I didn't want to try out for any volunteering opportunities or to go for internships. I basically stuck to things that I could speak about in an academic sense. So it's I'd see my classmates, and then I'd be like, hey, how was your quiz? I'd be that person who's always chatting about homework and quizzes because I was afraid to talk about anything else because I was afraid that they would judge me. And so that really lasted for a long time. And overcoming it there wasn't really one way that I overcame this. It was a gradual process over time. One of the things that really helped was just to interact with people on really small terms, in small ways, saying hi to somebody in a line, or just asking somebody how their day was. And this process was really hard for me. I had a lot of anxiety. I'd talk to somebody and then I'd walk away being like, oh my god, I messed everything up, I insulted their ancestors, or I didn't. But that's just
you were just worried that you said something.
Yeah.
But you actually did
Yeah, I was worried that I was going to say something wrong. I was worried that I was going to somehow insult them, that I said something boring or something that made them stressed out. And so I was focused more on how they were going to judge me rather than the actual interaction that I was going to have with them, sort of the experiences that we were going to be sharing. And one thing that really helped me get over my fear was realizing that people aren't really that judgmental. They have a lot of things going on. So say that you say hi to someone in one of your classes, hi, and then they just sort of go, hi, and then they look back at, their phone. That's happened to everyone, right? They just start looking at their phone. You don't really know what's going on inside their head. They could be waiting for a really important phone call, for example, or they could be really hungry, really tired, they had a fight with their partner. The list goes on. So I think that having the realization that there's a lot of things going on with everyone. So if somebody doesn't react the way you want them to or would like them to, that's not on you usually. And another thing that really helped was just, one thing that really helped was taking a public speaking class, because everybody there struggled with speaking in some way. Right. For me, it was more interpersonal, how do I make friends? How do I make small talk? But for a lot of the students in the class, it was how do I present my ideas? How do I get people to care about my ideas? And the class environment was just really nice. And even though I wound up crying while giving one of my presentations, it was embarrassing. But everybody was really chill about it. The instructor was really nice. They understood. Yeah, it was a really good experience. And the nice thing about it was that I'd spent so long thinking that like my thoughts don't matter, and that my feelings don't matter, and that my words don't matter. So I think that taking a public speaking class is a really good way to get over that, just because, you know, it makes you realize that you are important and that people will actually listen to what you have to say. If you ever get down on yourself, this is like true, I think, for a lot of different types of phobias and fears. If you look at the general progress that you think you've made rather than just like one incident, I think that can be really helpful in just giving yourself a break mentally. Doing that, I think it makes it a bit easier to continue facing your fears and just keep going forward. Say that if you're afraid with speaking with people, like right now, like if you're worried about making friends, if you just come to college or something like that, I'd say the first step would be just to give yourself a bit of a break. It's way more common than people think to, you know, have these sorts of fears, to be nervous, to be shy. I feel like our society very much emphasizes extroversion and, you know, being able to like really put yourself out there and talk as a value. But I'd say just like give yourself a break first of all, and just know that there's a lot of people like you out there. And then I'd really just say start small. If you're really worried about talking to people, like as I was, my father always says that if you smile at the world tends to smile back. So if you're too freaked out to like even start talking, which, you know, has happened to me before, if you just smile at someone, it sends them the message that, hey, I'm not gonna bite your head off, and like, hey, I'm here and I recognize that you are here too. And then over time that can lead to something. I feel like just doing like small things and then you can like work up from there. Yeah,
Definitely.
And if you feel anxiety afterwards, just know like it's part of the process of, you know, learning. And it does get better with experience. Like the more experiences you get, the better. And while not every single interaction might go the way that you want it to go or you might expect, if that happens, most likely it's not because of anything that you did. It's probably, you know, just, you know, the other person might be in a bad mood or something, or maybe they were rushing to class and you were like, hi, and then they just like walk right past you. That happens a lot in college. So a good way to start is just to ask them like questions, and not just like yes or no questions, but open-ended ones. So it's like, hi, what did you do this weekend? They might be like, oh, I saw a movie. And you're like, oh, what did you like about it?
Yeah.
Because when you ask questions like, what did you like about this? Like, why do you like this? What do you think about that? They're open-ended questions. They signal to the other person that you are interested, and it also gives you commonalities to search for. Because I think that when you're talking with people, if you're trying to find ways that you're similar, you know, rather than how you are different, I think that really helps you like calm down when you're talking with people.